Celtic won. It's incredible. It's unbelievable. Look at the celebrations there. What a turnaround here this afternoon.
Welcome to Rangers Radio.
What a goal by Steenie, followed that up, and whoop, in it goes.
Why not give the show a call on 01413561972.
Rangers open the scoring, up in Tawdry, 12 minutes of the match remaining.
What a strike.
A stunner from Kenny Miller, rifles it into the roof of the net.
Or send Fox a friend request on Skype at Rangers Radio Online.
He's gone into the middle, McSwegan's in there too. Will he come for McSwegan? There's his header, and he scores! What a substitution! Running inside, is he gonna let flies in? He scores! Good ball! Scores for Rangers!
Nacho Lobo with one kick of the ball to take Rangers to Manchester. Rangers are coming! The Scots are heading for Manchester, and you know what? Manchester may not be big enough.
Remember, it's all about the Rangers.
Well, hello, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Joining myself, Fox, sharing the panel is unique tonight. It's the one and only Kevin Thompson. How are we doing, Kevin?
Yeah, fine, thanks, mate. Thanks for having us on.
Listen, first and foremost, thanks very much for taking the time to come and join us in our wee radio station on Rangers Radio. It's an absolute pleasure and honour to speak to yourself. One of the stalwarts of the period between 2007 and 2011, one of the most successful in their club's history. How are you doing, Kevin, this new? How's retirement treating you?
Good. I'm enjoying my time, and like I say, thanks for having us on. I'm always privileged to get invited on for the Rangers fans and to speak about my time and my fond memories I had at the club. To say that I'm retired is probably a wee bit of an understatement because obviously with the academy I'm run off my feet at the moment, so I'd rather be playing, I think.
Aye. Pampered player, is that what you're telling us?
Aye. Well, I think you appreciate how well you're looked after when you're a player when you retire. The big old bad world out there, innit? When it comes down to reality, working really hard. And look, I've always been a hard worker. It's second nature to me. That's the way I kind of evolved my life. So the academy's been thick and fast. It's been well received, and I just think to get your teeth stuck into something when you retire, to keep yourself busy is really important for any player. Really, I think when you kind of sit and be a bit bored and start thinking too much, it can it can lead to difficulties. Where I think if you thrust yourself into something and get stuck in, then it can keep you busy.
Aye, we'll start your academy, Kevin. Obviously, we're going to talk about your Rangers period and all the great goals you scored for the club, you know.
Well, not take long then, will it?
But as a boy, you went to Coventry City, and I don't know if a lot of people will know that. You went down to Coventry as a boy. They'd have been in, the English Premiership at the time, so that would have been a decent move. Who was the manager there when you signed?
It was Gordon Strachan at the time.
Oh, was it?
Aye.
Right, okay.
Look, Strax would never even know who I was, to be honest.
Right.
It's funny how footy sometimes works in the respect that obviously my paths crossed when I played against someone I was at Hibs, and he was obviously manager of Celtic, and then when I moved to Rangers I played against him as like an arch rival, and then obviously he was a manager at Sidemount at Middlesbrough. So it's funny that sometimes through football you can kind of cross paths with different managers at different times of your career.
And similar upbringings in some respects, sir.
Aye. Look, he was great to me. He was obviously he did sign me at Middlesbrough. He was desperate to sign me at Celtic as well when I obviously moved to Rangers. So actually when he popped up wanting to sign me at Middlesbrough after kind of snubbing him a wee bit to come to Rangers and not go to Celtic, I thought that the paths would never really cross again. But they did, and I have to say, from a player's point of view, he's a terrific coach, and he was wonderful with me when I was at Middlesbrough, albeit I only had him for a wee while.
Difficult job at Middlesbrough, mate. Difficult job. When you were at Coventry, mate, you were only a lad, 16.
I actually younger. When I first started to go, like kind of most boys, you go on trial and you maybe go and spend a week. You spend a weekend, and if they like you, excuse me, if they like you, you start to spend a wee bit more time. I.e., you maybe go regular, i.e., once a week. Maybe go down on a Friday, play a game on a Saturday, back up on a Sunday. and that would become your routine, because they would rather you down there playing in their academy rather than playing with potentially a boys club or playing with a different pro youth team every other week. So my upbringing with boys club, pro youth never really existed when I was younger. So
don't get me started, mate. Don't get me started.
We never really had the option of kind of being in these academies and the way the whole setup is in Scotland at the moment. So that was my setup when I was younger. I used to fly to Coventry every other week and spend a bit of time there, and that progressed into obviously moving full time when I was 15/16. But I touched on it obviously off air here that I was brought up in the borders. I was, I'd like to say I probably wasn't quite streetwise, and I found it difficult moving away from my mum and dad when I was younger. So sadly for me, that opportunity never worked out. But
another Rangers legend who went to Tottenham, Graham Souness, he was the same. He got homesick as well, mate. So you're not alone. It's a difficult age.
It's difficult. And I think, look, I can only say, plaudits to Coventry in the respect that they've done everything possible to try and keep me down there. You probably don't appreciate when you're younger because you just want to go home, don't you? You just want to be with your pals, you want to be with your mum and dad, and you want to be in your own house. Sadly, my house was in Peebles, and it was a few hundred miles away from Coventry, so it just never worked out. And thankfully for me, I got an opportunity quite soon after that to join the Highbees, and hopefully I can say now at 32, soon to be 33, that I never really looked back after that opportunity.
Was it that? You didn't maybe realise it at the time, but was that dealing with the boys' club being signed at 16 years of age? Do you think your passion for coaching and kids football maybe started then, mate?
I don't know, to be honest, if you'd asked me, if we'd done this interview when I was 27, 28, I probably would have told you that I would never have wanted to work with kids and younger lads, and I'd always had kind of a strong opinion that I only wanted to work with pros, and I don't know if I had the patience for kids, and all these type of things probably run through my head when I was that wee bit younger. But if you ask me this question now, I love it. It's it's a huge passion of mine. It's something that I'm absolutely over the moon of done. When I did retire, I had thought about it when I was playing. When I did retire, it prompted me. Everybody will think I probably retired a wee bit too soon, only being 32. But I'm one of the people that when I have something in my mind and I set myself to do it, I give my all to it. It's just the way I am. I want to be the best at whatever I do, and if I fall short and the academy don't take off as well as I'd like to, and it grow as big as I'd like to, then it'll certainly not be through lack of trying.
So explain to us your setup. You've got Kevin, obviously it's based in the East Coast, and what you're trying to do and where you see it going, or hopefully where it goes.
Well, I just kind of thought I'd start at kind of grassroots level, and quite quickly I got a lot of pro youth players wanting private sessions, and I kind of do younger classes that start.
Do you do finishing?
Well, I'm actually no bad at finishing when I'm on the training ground, but I never got far enough up to shoot when I was pretty much my whole career. So, it's funny when I do demos for the kids, they think I'm great at shooting, but it's when you're not playing in front of 50,000 and it's just
it's a bit different, isn't it?
You and your lad, it's a bit different, aye. So, look, it's been great, and as I say, I've got kids that are just starting out footy right in my 5 to 8 year old class. Follows on to my 9 to 12 year old class. I've got some 9, 10 year olds that are just starting out as well, and seeing them with a smile on their face, seeing them with their own ball. A lot of my stuff's uncompetitive. For at least 30 minutes of the 45-minute session, I give them all their own ball. So when they go through the dribble cones and they do all the technique stuff to start with, that's the best players not playing against the weakest player, and the weakest players not playing against the best player, so that they're all learning at their own rate. I think it's really important. I do think when you go to boys club level and right through to pro youth level, that a lot of times kids can be standing around still. They can be
in a line,
watching the best players.
Aye,
in a line, big queues, and it's one thing I always preach. Always on the move. It's precious 45 minutes. I want them to work hard. They can stand around at the end when the session's finished, but within that session, I want them to work really hard, and I want to try and give them a realisation. Right through grassroots, right through to my pro boys, that you only get out of life what you put in, and if you want to be better at something and you want to improve, like most people want to get better at something that they do, you have to work hard, and that's basically what I preach every day.
Brilliant, mate. So you've got two sort of setups, and you've got grassroots, which is boys club level, and then you've got pro youth, yeah.
Aye, well, I try and keep my pro youth boys to a Saturday because I've not really got a class for my pro youth boys. Although through different holidays, I've done a couple of group sessions which they went down really well, and they actually prompted me to do some through the summer. But I obviously took a wee bit of time off this summer, and I did notice the learning curve that camps are big in the summer. And obviously when people go on holiday, when you've got players paired up, and obviously just because they're paired up in your academy doesn't mean that they go on holiday at the same time. So these were all kind of wee hurdles and wee obstacles that I've now done. We're almost, obviously kids go back to school next week, so I'll know better next summer. But so far I try and keep the grassroots kids to a Sunday, although I do have some pro boys on a Sunday, because pro youth, some players play on a Saturday and some play on a Sunday. So all clients want different kind of days, so I just try and accommodate as much as I can. I want to have a wee bit of life as well, because I coach sometimes 7 days a week, which can lead into 14 days in the bounce and sometimes 21 days in the bounce. I give my Thursday up to a boys club through in Falkirk at the moment, and that are wanting to try and get a tie in with me. So I used to have a Thursday night off, which was my kind of day off and then night off, but I've gave that up in the last few weeks, and the last few weeks of the season, and finishing just there in May, June type time. So I just try and do as much as I can. I love being on the training field, the stuff that comes along with having your own business, the bookings, the emails. My wife does all that, and she's got the patience of a saint, especially with me, because I want perfection, I want it done right. So she has me battering her ear every night to make sure that everything's intact. I just want to be in the training field and coaching the kids, and hopefully if I can help them and they can play with a smile on their face, whether that's someone just starting football and it makes them love footy, or whether it's a pro boy that wants to know how hard they work to try and become a young professional, then hopefully it'll be all worthwhile.
The hardest thing of dealing with kids, mates, the parents with football, have you came across any?
Aye, parents, to be honest, they have been a breath of fresh air. The parents have been different class. I do try my very, very best at without having it in black and white and telling them as such. When I do have my sessions on, I sometimes have 20-30 parents standing at the side watching obviously my sessions. I do try and say that, look, it's hard enough at that age to listen to my voice. You can say whatever you want, you're the parent, it's at the end of the day you call the shots, but while I've got them at the academy, I'd like you just to stand and watch and enjoy it, and watch your kid run around, watch them get stuck in, watch them learn, listen and try and improve, rather than listening to my voice plus listening to parents' voices at the side. It can be such a distraction. They're only young kids, they can only take in so much. So I think so far so good. I get the odd parent that wants to tell me that I should do it this way or do it that way, and I'm always approachable. I'm always try to give my opinion based on their opinion and see if we can try and come up with a happy medium. But it's only the odd one. So hopefully that means that parents appreciate what I'm doing, and they see that I'm trying to do the best for every single kid that comes to the academy. I tell all my coaches that help me that regardless of kids just starting out and they turn up and they kick it with their toe or whatever, it's irrelevant to me. And that kid's just as important as a pro youth player at 16 that's trying to become a young professional football player. And I think if we had that mentality through Scotland, and we had that mentality right through boys clubs, right into pro youth, that your weakest player is just as important as your strongest player, then I think we would be in a far better state.
Is that the driving passion for you, the state of the game? Because there's an argument that we've stopped producing players, isn't there?
I think so. And look, I'm a fan of the club. I would have loved an opportunity to work in the academy when I was there. I obviously worked. I juggled full-time training with Alan Stubbs and trying to be as fit as I possibly could to trying to help the squad, achieve their goals of the season, pushing for promotion against Rangers and still in the Scottish Cup and still in the League Cup as well. So it was a great season to be involved in the club. But I also come in at night time and helped in the academy, and that was something that I loved. I got a real buzz off it. I helped Lee Makel at the under-15s, and Lee was terrific with the boys. And it's a good setup at the academy. They've got wonderful facilities. They've obviously got a head of the academy filtered right through to having potentially 2 coaches at almost every level, albeit some of them are volunteers, etc. That's kind of the way the lesser academies work, almost like petrol expenses. I would argue you maybe didn't get the right coaches in because of that. Would you get a Barry Ferguson in taking an under-15s team for £40 a week and passing on his knowledge and and maybe Barry would love that opportunity. I like the fact that when people look at like Iceland and they've got certain level of coaches, full-time coaches right through every age group and that, and then all of a sudden you see them do really well in the Euros. I just think that we do things, cut corners. I think that's probably the best example. And I think if we never cut as many corners and we really had more passionate coaches rather than just a means to an end and just a job for a job or a job for a pal, then I think we would be in a better state. And that doesn't mean me sitting saying that I'm the big green-eyed monster. I want an opportunity and nobody else knows what they're talking about. It's no. I think there's loads of great coaches out there. I just think that there's a lot that's not very good either. And I know that grassroots wouldn't exist if it wasn't for a dad helping a team because his lad plays in the team. But I don't know if that's the right way to go at times, because I do think that when it comes to your own, and I'm exactly the same, you never have the same patience. And if you have the falling out, the dad-son relationship where you can get a wee bit of friction because your lad didn't do particularly well, or he's no listener, or he's the one that's mucking around, you then lose concentration on the rest. And that happens too often for me. I try and have my lads in my academy on different pitches for me, and if they're on my pitch, then they get treated the same as everybody else.
Yeah, mate, it's difficult, but you can talk through personal experience. It's difficult when your own son's involved. So, as you hopefully your academy expands, what level of coaches would you? Obviously, you can't do it all. You might try, but you'll not be able to do it all, mate, because you can't be 10 places at once.
You can't be exactly. And to be honest, as it kind of grows at the moment, I would like it to be wherever my academy is on, i.e., if it is 7 days a week, then I only take on as much as I can be at. That's how I'd like it to grow. Obviously, I'd like it to grow to be the biggest, the best in the country. I would like Pro Youth. I'd like the Scottish FA to try and get my academy involved in the performance schools. I didn't say that as like a big-headed type thing, but I just think that I've already got quite a lot of kids that come through the performance school to me for private sessions, and they pay. Obviously, their parents pay that themselves. Could there be a link with academies that there's more players through the academies that do more personal sessions where it's no team sessions, it's not about a coach going on there and standing in the middle of the pitch and having the lads stand about for 20, 30 minutes or whatever. It might help coaches that I take 4 of them away, the 4 strikers, and I work on striker stuff. I might take the 4 defenders away, work on defender stuff. I do 2 to 4s at the moment, which is 2 players working in a pair and the other 2 kids working at a different station with another coach. And then we swap over. I've only just started doing that. It used to just be 2 kids and 2 coaches, but with demand, I'm starting to get 4 on the pitch at the one time now. And it works really well. I tried it with my pro boys, who are probably the hardest ones to keep at that tempo because obviously they're fitter, they're faster. They're used to obviously a bigger load of training, i.e. they train 3 nights a week and then play at the weekend, to grassroots potentially only training once and playing once at the weekend. So they've already got that wee bit more stamina. And to work them as hard as I would like to, I thought that's how I would trial it. I think it worked great, and hopefully in time, as my reputation keeps on building, the academy keeps on building, it's something that pro clubs would look at, because I know that they don't do it. I'm not saying that a lad doesn't get a bag of balls and goes and practice shooting, but anyone can get a bag of balls and knock it in front of them and smash it in the net. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's learning. I think if you create drills that are realistic of what happens in a game, where it could be different movements, it could be receiving the ball at different angles, it could be checking, it could be having to kind of a wee bit of agility, something sharp to jump over a tackle to get a 1-2 to get a shot. That's the type of thing that when I shut my eyes and I doodle on my piece of paper, these are the type of sessions that I try and create to try and think how it could happen on a Saturday. And I would like to think one day, whether that's in 10 years' time or whether it's next month, I might be given an opportunity to try and see if it could work with the so-called elite players of the country.
Mm-hmm. Magnificent, mate, and I wish you best of luck, and everybody here on Rangers Radio hopes it goes from strength to strength, because
good man.
We need to start producing players. I don't know what's happened in the country the last 10 years, because it's definitely slowed up the amount of players we're producing into the game to play at the top level. We'll move on to 2003 when you signed for Hibs, yeah?
Aye.
You obviously signed for him as a youth when you come back from Coventry, then you signed in the first team, and you were only play 80 games for him. That must have been enjoyable, and at the time a dream come true for you.
Aye, it was kind of a bit surreal in the respect when we touched on Coventry. obviously leaving, I did have a wee period of time where your relationship strained with your dad, your mum, because they obviously disappointed that you gave up an opportunity. They just want the best for their son. They knew it was a great chance for me, but I was set in stone that I wanted to come home. So I went to a wee period where I went back to Peebles Thistle, funnily enough, and played with my pals, which was
Brilliant, mate.
almost Mickey taking, really, to be honest. Kind of the level that I had managed to get myself to, compared to some of my pals, some of my good pals still to this day. They were just basically had a kick about with their pals, if you know what I mean. Although it was competitive games, so it was a waste of time me being there. Although I loved it, just being back with my pals again. And then just kind of out of the blue, I got a phone call off of my dad got a phone call off of John Park, who was obviously a heavy recruitment type academy at Hibs when I was there. And he had said that obviously Donald Park had recommended me through George Mackey, who was a youth team coach at Coventry. And if we couldn't get this lad to stay doing, then you should get him. So they asked me in for a couple of days training. I went in. I only trained for, I think, 15-20 minutes of the first kind of drill. And Parky pulled me aside, Donald Park, and said, how you feeling? And I was like, aye, good. He was like, what did you think? And I was like, aye, good, I really enjoyed it. He was like, he says, you're better than anything we've got. Do you want to sign? And I was like, I'd love to. He says, well, let's get it done. And that was it. I trained the rest of the session. And we were just near the tail end of the season. The boys only had, I think maybe a week to go. So I trained, I want to say the Monday, Tuesday. The boys were off on the Wednesday. And then I trained again on the Thursday. And I think they finished up. I think they basically had to do their chores on the Friday to make sure at that time Easter Road was getting revamped. So they were in porta cabins. Alex McLeish was actually the manager at the time. Right. And I ended up signing. And then obviously the following summer, i.e. however long it was, 4-6 weeks off or whatever, I started my first pre-season. And being a youth team player working under Donald Park was probably the best upbringing I could have asked for. Someone that's right at the top
reputation
of the tree.
in the game.
Good reputation. He's right at the top of the tree. In the SFA, obviously, I still get on really well to this day. I worked with him not that long ago for the SFA on a kind of coaching course. And he gave me a real realisation of what it takes to be a footy player. The discipline that he had within the young boys, i.e. there was never a time that you never done your jobs. With Parky rolling about the changing rooms, he was like a wee Tasmanian devil. Everybody was shite scared of him. So your jobs were done to the best of your ability, and I think it's a nice way of getting an upbringing that you've got your chores to do. You do them, and you work hard on the training pitch to try and be the best you can be. And thankfully, that youth team, that was I think a lot of them would say it was down to Donald and how hard he worked with us and the kind of upbringing that he gave us. And you look through O'Connor, Riordan, Marcel, Whitty, Brownie, I think Fletch probably would have had a wee bit of work under Donald as well. So you're talking like 5 or 6 players that went on and all become full internationals.
No bad hit rate.
No bad hit rate. So it's to then obviously get in the first team. If that was 2003, then get brought up a Hibs fan, you can only ever think of making it and getting on that pitch with having your name and your number on the back of your strip. That's what everybody aspires to be.
And you still living in Peebles then?
No, I stay in the town.
All right.
I've stayed in Edinburgh since I was. Me and Scotty got our first flat in the town when we were 18, 19. I think I might have been 19. Scotty was 18. And then when we got into the first team, proper in the first team, established ourselves. Scott moved to Livingston, and I stayed Portobello type of way. Whitty used to pick me up on the way. He was a Bonnyrigg boy, so he used to pick me up on the way because I never drove until I actually moved to Rangers. And then when I did move to Rangers, I know it sounds bad. I wasn't very good at goal scoring, and I wasn't very good at driving. So hopefully I can teach the kids how to win, but and try and be the best they can be. I certainly won't be able to teach them how to drive a car. Yeah. So I never drove until I was, I think, 22, 23. But I did move from one side of the town to the other side of the town when I signed for Rangers, because the bypass for traffic in the morning's a nightmare. So I moved to kind of this side of the M8, if that makes sense.
Aye, I know you are, aye. So you've been in the team, Hibs team, you're about 19 years of age?
Aye, 19 I made my debut up in Dundee. I still remember it like it was yesterday. And I'll be the first player to say that talent gets you only so far, hard work gets you the rest. Mentality, desire, that burning feeling in your belly, you need to have it. If you've not got it, you're wasting your time. no wasting your time to play football. As long as you've got a smile on your face and as long as you enjoy playing football, you should be playing it. But the difference between being a grassroots player and being a pro, or being an amateur player and being a professional, is you have to have that burn in your belly. You have to know what it feels like to be tired, and to know how hard it is to work. And if you've got that, then you've got half a chance. And I didn't just mean going in the gym and getting a wee bit of sweat on your brow. I mean, like, going to the trenches and having to work hard. And for me to make my debut up at Dundee was almost like a reward for working as hard as I had as a youth team player, because I was probably one of the last to get in the team. I think Whitty had made his debut or been there or thereabouts. Scotty had played the tail end of that season. O'Connor Riordan had got in under Soze. And now Bobby's obviously era was kind of in mid-flow, and I was still almost just on the fringes. So I had to work extra hard to make sure that I never got left behind with all this young talent, and thankfully I got my reward.
Magnificent. At 19 in the first team, life changed.
Aye, look, everything comes too easy to young players in the first team. I'd like to think Hibs is slightly different. It's changed now. You can't get in the first team at 17, 18, 19, and only need to battle off a few names like Hanlon's, Foster's, Harris, Stanton. Boys that get in the first team and play a few games and get big long contracts, albeit when in a different era. I'd hate to think that they got overpaid or whatever, because they never, but they did get far more significant money than what we did. I still remember playing and being on a bag of chips and a bottle of pop a week. You had a proper ground, and the only way you got extra money was when the first team won and you were part of the squad, because you got a bigger bonus, a bonus that was far, far bigger than your weekly wage. If you never got that bonus, then there was the reality check that you were in the team and you were on a couple £100 a week. That's the way it was for us. Or I think I want to say at least the first season that we were in the first team until we signed 5-year contract. But even 5-year contracts, it was still right down the bottom of the chain. Mr. Petre being Mr. Petre knew how to work the system as such. And
we're a big fan of Mr. Petre on here.
keep us as low as we possibly could. And to be honest, I think having
did you have an agent then, Kevin?
Aye, we did. Aye, we a lot of young Hibs players get snapped up by Jim MacArthur.
Right.
He had kind of a relationship with the club, and like any agent nowadays, they're exactly the same. They're like sharks, aren't they? They just swim around the young players and get them snapped up quickly. And obviously, they're in the same opinion as anyone else. The more you can snap up, the bigger opportunity you've got to try to get a golden egg. If you get a golden egg, then you've won a watch as such. That's the way it works. That was the same for us, and I think it becomes fashionable when you're a youth team player that Tom, Dick and Harry have got an agent, and you've known, so you say to Dad, why have I know? And then the agent gets the players that are signed up to him a pair of boots, and you decide that you want a pair of boots, and before you know it, you're signed with an agent. That's how it works. It still works like that to this day. Young players are saying, oh, what should I do? Should I sign with him? I know he's going to give me a tracksuit and a pair of boots. It's like putting a tracksuit and a pair of boots on 20, 30 different horses and hoping that one of them is going to win. If you back 30 horses compared to backing one, the likelihood is you're going to get a chance of getting a winner, aren't you?
Well, maybe not the way we back horses on this show, mate.
That bad sounds like me.
Aye.
I think that's the way it is. And I say this for the bottom of my heart: if any kid in the country wanted advice, I would give them advice for nothing, and I'd give them the best possible advice I could ever give them, because from 25 to 32, I'd done all my contracts myself. I'd done my Middlesbrough contract myself.
Right.
I'd done my payoff for Middlesbrough. I'd done my Hibs contract myself. I'd done the free one, although that wasn't a very good negotiating. I'd done the next one that was obviously a normal salary. And then I'd done my Dundee one myself. I'd done my Dundee payoff myself. I'd done my Alan Stubbs one back to Hibs myself. And then I left. And I'd like to think when I negotiated my Middlesbrough contract and my payoff for Middlesbrough, it would be as big as anyone in Scotland. So I'd like to think I'm not just saying, I was on £100 a week and I didn't know what I'm talking about. I lived it myself. And it breaks my heart that some of these young guys, if that's what you want, everybody's got a different opinion. I just think that an agent should be someone that gives you advice, life advice that gives you the best possible chance to being the best footy player. And I'd argue that a lot of agents wouldn't even know what that takes.
Maybe they've got ulterior motives, mate, eh?
Well, the ulterior motive is to turn up at games and watch games, and hopefully one of your players goes and signs for a couple £1 million and you get a couple £100,000 for doing nothing. It pains me a wee bit. And I'm not saying that all agents are like that. I know the big boys agents can run their lives for them, and wherever they want to go, they book holidays for them and do this and they do that. I'm not saying that's them all, but I just think that when you're 16 and you're on a YTS contract, £75 a week, £100 a week, whatever the kids get paid nowadays, I think it's a waste of time having an agent. And the only thing you should be focusing on is using that 2-year period. I think too many treat it like a honeymoon period and a time that I'm a Hibs player now or I'm a Rangers player, and they're there for 2 or 3 years and they end up at a junior team or an amateur team and they've missed their chance. And I think when they look back and she asked them, did you really give your all in the 2 or 3 years? 9 times out of 10 or 99 out of 100, they would say they never. And it pains me because they should be getting better advice. If they have an agent, then that agent should be telling them that this going and putting your fiver on a coupon at the weekends and this, having a beer at the weekend and all this. I'm not saying you can put a coupon on and you can have a beer and it's going to stop you being a professional football player, but I think at 16 to 19 you should be leaving no stone unturned, and you should be giving it your all to try and live the dream, because when you do become a professional footy player and you get to the top, it's the best life in the world.
Yeah, mate. So 2003-2004 season, you go to the League Cup final with Hibs.
Aye, we got beat off Livingston.
Aye. At the time, you think the world came to an end, did you?
Aye.
Was it a terrible feeling?
It's probably to that stage in my career, I'd only played 25, 26 games before I ended up hurting my knee at the end of that season. But
Aye.
the League Cup was obviously my first major final. 39,000 Hibs fans there, 10,000 Livingston fans. It was. I think, to be honest,
maybe just as well you never won, because all the fans might have come on the pitch.
Broke the goals for next year. It was a heartbreak. All your pals are there, all your family, the buses with Peebles, you know what I mean. You have the expectation in the way at the club on your shoulders because you're a fan. You're just desperate to get your hands on silverware. But sadly for me, I played in 3 cup finals for Hibs and I fell short in them all, and it's one that you look back and regret. But look, I had a great career, and
you got there, mate. You got there.
Exactly.
That's a feat in itself. So then, calamity struck. Your cruise ship.
Aye.
How was that?
It was Partick Thistle on a Wednesday night. It was funny, I was carrying a wee bit of a groin strain leading into the games, but same again, you're keen as mustard, you want to play in every game. At this stage, I'd built up a good reputation, and the young guns in that team were starting to get a bit of publicity. Bobby was, used to let me and Scotty almost do what we wanted. He was a big fan of ours, and I think he knew what we brought to the team. So we were at that stage where we were going out a lot, and we were probably going out when we shouldn't have went out. We were living our life the way. Aye, we were living our lives the way we shouldn't have. But look, we had great fun, and we never knew any different. We just lived by the sword, died by the sword, and we done our own mistakes, and we learned. And hopefully the penny dropped quick enough for us both never to stand in our way and not get anywhere we wanted to get to. But we the knee injury was a real sucker blow for me in the respect. We built up reputations, and you do feel that everything's coming too easy. A reality check almost, but a harsh one when you're a young kid to then have to get through what I had to get through, thinking that you might never play again, you might never become the professional footy player that you hoped you were starting to become. So it was hard, and I really had to dig deep. I had to go places I never knew I could get to when I was such a young age, seeing all your pals going from strength to strength and blossoming and getting so much great publicity. The team was starting to gel, looking like a proper team. The plaudits were unbelievable that a young Hibs team were getting, and I was sat on the sidelines. Thompson was the player, Thompson was this, Thompson was that, and you kind of got to the stage where you felt like you were a player, but now you weren't. But
sometimes you become a better player when you're knowing the team.
Aye, and I think I've become a better person. I think the makeup that I ended up having as a player and as a person to this day come off the back of my hard injuries. I'd like to say I had great help of a lot of people, but at times you do feel alone. You do feel like you're on your own. And talking back about agents and that, you're lucky if I had a phone call off my agent when I was out injured for 11 months.
Oh.
You know what I mean? That's the side of the coin that I think people see agents. Only my opinion, they should be, life people, helping kids get through problems and, making sure their life's as sweet as possible and giving themselves every chance. I was the opposite when I was a kid. I had mum and dad and you had your pals, but even then when you're 19, your pals are, let's go for a pint at the weekend or let's have a game of golf or, keep your spirits high, but it's not really helping you get back to being a professional football player, do you know what I mean? And
Did you have any doubts then? Do you have any doubts?
Aye, huge doubts. Because like I say, baggy chips and a bottle of pop a week. I think I was on a couple-year contract. Tony Mowbray then come in, who changed the club dramatically for being Bobby Williamson off the cuff. Although Bob was great with me, and I'll always be in debt to him for giving me my opportunity to become what I become. But Tony changed everything around: the diet, the lunch, the way we trained, the philosophy, the style, the way we passed the ball. And I had to sit at the sidelines and watch, thinking this is perfect for me. Everything that he likes is what I am. But you have to get back on the pitch to prove that you're good enough to do it. So it was hard, but you just have to keep going. You have to knuckle down. And like I say, when you're in the trenches, you either sink or you swim. And thankfully, I swam.
So you come back 2005-2006 season, yeah? And you're back on the team.
Well, I struggled to get back in the team, to be honest, to start with. I sat on the bench a couple of times under Tony, and to be fair to Tony, and I'll never forget it, the day that he come in and introduced himself to the squad, and he come in, typical manager off the back of a nice holiday, nice suntan, and I think we had been to Magaluf and never seen the sun, and he had probably been in the Caribbean somewhere. We were all chalk white, and he was nice tan, and obviously he introduced himself and Mark Venus. We never knew who he was, to be honest. And he asked if he could have a chat with me, and I said, aye, of course. And to be fair to him, he sat me in his office and asked how I was, and I told him I was fine, and how long till you get back fit, and I told him I didn't really know, because I'd had other problems, other complications in my knee that hadn't quite been ironed out, so I was still in the kind of unknown situation. And he said to me, look son, I've already watched videos of this team play, and you're the best player at this club by a country mile. Take as long as you want. Let's just get you right. Let's get you ready. And as soon as you're back fit, you'll be in that team and you'll be flying. And I walked out his office feeling 10 feet tall. And in my opinion, that's what agents should be making players feel like. Players should surround themselves with people that blow smoke up their backside, but surround yourself with people that want the best for you and want good for you, and give you a reality check and tell you that you can do whatever you want to do.
Aye, that's man management, mate. So you move on, 2005, 2006, then 2006, 2007. That team's reputation's growing. You're in the media. People are talking about a lot of players at your club. You're getting speculation that you might be moving. How was that? Was that interesting, picking up the papers?
Aye. Look, like any young player, I think still to this day you want to see yourself in the papers, and you want it to be positive. You feel great. You start to get recognised in the street. You're signing autographs. People are wanting pictures with you. That's great. That's it's brilliant. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Getting nice recognition for what you do on the pitch. And yeah, I'll always be grateful, even to this day, going to Blackpool with the kids and someone wanting a picture with you. It's always nice. I'm always appreciative of people supporting me through my career. When you're young, you probably at times you can get carried away with it. And it is a reality check, because the good always gets followed by the bad. And in my opinion, you can sometimes get built up to be the best you can possibly be, just so people can watch you fall.
Scottish press are good at that, mate.
Aye, and it's not a nice thing. And I think that the sooner you realise that the good plaudits will always come to an end, and there'll always be someone that wants to have a dig at you, because you can never please everybody. But thankfully for us, the kind of rumours and the links and all these great teams that we were linked with eventually become reality, and we managed to move on, and I think 6 or 7 of that team went on and all become full internationals. All went to big clubs. All done particularly well for themselves, and I think when you look back at that team, it had some special talent in it.
So when did you know you were leaving Hibs? Was it always a speculative transfer window? All right, that'd be 2007.
2007, aye. So
So
even though
John
we were
Collins
linked with
was the
teams
manager
and-
then?
Aye, John was a manager, and it was a difficult period for me. Probably difficult for John as well, his first job, and all of a sudden these two star players signed up with a new agent, and the new agent thought it was a good fun, almost like, I think Willie thought he was playing footy manager, and he was sitting on a laptop just having a bit of fun, and I think he enjoyed the media, he enjoyed the camaraderie that come along with it. Two young boys, and you know, he used to take us to the races. He used to, you know, he took us to Celtic Park to watch Celtic v Man United. He was trying to treat us like kings, and me and Scotty not having that much, we kind of lapped it up, and obviously all the stuff in the paper, you know, Willie used to instigate a lot of that, and it become a wee bit of a circus, to be honest. But when you're in it and you're young, you kind of love it up, that you're linked with Celtic and Rangers, and you're linked with teams down south every other day, and you know, one day it's 1 million, the next day it's 5, and before you know it, you kind of feel like, it's everything's kind of coming on top of you quite quickly. But it was, I think it was difficult for John in that way, having two young players getting touted around for his team every other day in the media, and he was obviously trying to keep us focused and trying to keep us doing what we could do on the pitch. I just think it become a difficult situation for both of us.
So when did you know you were going to sign for the world's most successful football club, mate?
Well, it's funny because I still laugh to this day when I tell the story. Obviously, Tony Mowbray wanted me at West Brom. He was desperate for us to go there, and obviously Walter was desperate for us to go to Rangers, and Gordon was desperate for us to go to Celtic. And the three of them used to phone us every night. We were linked with Blackburn, Charlton down the road as well.
Who would have been in the Premier League? They would have been in the Premier League then, yeah?
Aye. So we had different options. And I used to tell Tony exactly the same as I told Walter, and I used to tell Walter exactly the same as I told Gordon, that I wanted to sign. I'm desperate to come to use, because you didn't know what else to say. You know, when Walter comes on the phone and he says, you better not go to them, you better come to us, you're like, I'm desperate to come to use. And then when Gordon says the same, you say the same to him. And obviously when Tony comes on, you think, what do you want to go to Celtic and Rangers for? You need to play against Motherwell, and you need to play against St Mirren, and come down here. And so I mean, you'll get a nice big house, you'll get this, you'll get that, and you're kind of like, I'd already had the experience of Coventry, and when you get brought up in Scottish footy, playing for the Old Firm is as huge as anything. Do you know what I mean? So it was something that I really, really fancied, and I had alliances to Alan McGregor and to Stevie McLean, who had obviously both been at Rangers. Right. Stevie being a Peebles boy, and I just thought there was always one thing about Walter, the way he spoke, that it's hard to try and pinpoint the way he spoke to me on the phone. I wish I could have had the recording and could look back and some of the things.
So do we.
He's just got this thing into him that it's hard to describe. I don't know. I hope I have it one day, because I want to be as great a manager as he was. And that's a dream. But it's I just when Rod had messaged me to say to come up to see him, and he told me that he'd accepted a bid off of someone, I genuinely did think it was off of Celtic. I did have the feeling that although Walter was great with me, I did have the feeling that he wanted Scotty more than he wanted me, and vice versa. I thought Celtic wanted me more than they wanted Scotty. We both thought that.
So when you got that right, yeah?
I know. That's just how much we know. So when Rod told me that he had accepted a bid, the first thing I said was, he says, "Who off it?" Typical Rod. He kind of played Russian roulette with your life, and he said, "Who do you think it's been off it?" And I said, "Celtic." And he was like, "No." And I actually said West Brom, and he said, "No." And he was like, "Guess again." And I was like, "Rangers." He's like, "Aye." He's like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "I want to go." And that was it. He says, "Well, we could meet the dock and Martin Bain at Livingston, because obviously I never drove at the time, if you want to go." And I says, "I'm ready." He says, "Well, let me get my stuff together, let me get my jacket and that, and then I'll take you to Livingston." And then he says, "Look, you didn't need to sign. You can go and see what it's like. You can see what they offer you." But we already knew what they were willing to offer us anyway. Both teams were all teams. So it was an easy decision. And as soon as I got in the back of Martin Bain's car, there was never any way that I was going back to the town without signing for Rangers.
Right, so the deal was done then, and you signed. And was there an instant that you were at a different club, mate, or did it take a while to sink in?
It was just, look, I cannot tell you how. I knew it was a huge club, because I knew, look, I'd played at Ibrox, I'd seen the players, I'd been on the bus outside Ibrox and seen the players leaving the main entrance, and seen the the kind of attention that the players got. And like, I've been at Ibrox and played in front of 50,000 when I was a Hibs player, and and seen how great a stadium it was and how the players get treated. But when you're one of the players, it's totally different. And I have to say that for the day that I went there to the day that I retired to this day now, it's the one club that the whole club, whether it's Murray Park, whether it's the cleaners, whether it's the laundry women, whether it's the dinner ladies, whether it's at Ibrox, whether it's the main reception, whether it's upstairs in the canteen, whether it's in the lounges, you're treated like a king at that place. And any football player, no matter how big a club you've played for, you'll struggle to find a bigger club than Rangers.
You made your debut against Kilmarnock in a 3-1 win.
Aye.
Along with McGregor.
Did you score a hat-trick?
You did, mate, but for the record, I think you made the 3 of them.
I don't think I did. I think I had to come off at half time, didn't I?
Aye, 46.
I do remember playing. I come off at half time. I was feeling my hamstring.
Natural Novo come on for you.
We had European games still. We were out both cups, obviously. I think the team had just been beat off Dunfermline when Durante was the caretaker manager that season.
In the Scottish Cup, that's right.
Aye, we were still the.
You're still in Europe. Your next game was a European tie against Hapoel Tel Aviv.
Aye, Ibrox. That was my first start at Ibrox. And then obviously we played them away, and then did we get Osasuna? I think they'd been the next one.
Osasuna, aye. One each at home, and then
one each at home, and then they beat us over there, didn't they? Look, it's just I cannot speak any highly of the club. It's unbelievable, and making your debut and joining a team that was, I think, 18, 19 points behind Celtic, out both cups, still in Europe, quickly knocked out. To win in the last 2 Old Firms, which was amazing. We beat them at Ibrox. I think it was 2 or 3 that day, and obviously Big Hugo scored at Celtic Park, first Old Firm at Celtic Park. And it's funny when I talk about the Rangers team now, and obviously they're in the ascendancy, and you talk about joining a club when we were behind Celtic, they had better players than us, and we were trying to chase, and Waller was trying to build a squad that was capable of beating them, to within 6 months to go Champions League and all the way to Manchester is. Did you see
any similarities that then in 2006-07 to what's happening in the now, mate? With the team that Pedro's putting together?
Well, see, when Pedro was putting his team together, like when you look at his team that started against Marseille when I last on the telly, I've not seen them in the competitive games yet, although I did do the European game.
Well, no talking about that.
When I seen I done the good one, but I did think, and I can only be honest because it's the way I am. I did think when he was signing a lot of these foreign lads, and the team was being kind of foreign heavy until he brought in, obviously, I know Alves is European, but when he started without Dorans, without Alves, and I had a feeling that like the Paul Le Guen era was a thin switch of being either way. Signing too many players that don't know what it takes. And look, see when you get to Rangers, you're talented.
Oh,
talent
by the way, if you play professional football, you're talented, mate.
Exactly. And I always stick up for every player, because when you get to a great club like Rangers, you have to have talent. You have to have been a good player. The Rangers didn't sign mugs, but you can become a mug at Rangers, because if you didn't know what it takes and you haven't got the mentality and the desire and the hunger to succeed and have skin like a rhino, you just didn't succeed at a club like Rangers. It's just no the way. It just doesn't happen. It's a unique club, and you have to have a unique mentality to be able to succeed. And to be honest, when I did see his team and I did see his signings, I did think, because at the end of the day, you're based on what's happening across the road at Rangers. If they're in front of you, you need to chase them, and you need to chase them hard. And it's the only way you'll ever be successful at a club like Rangers is if you're a winner.
Mentally
if you're
tough.
A runner-up. If you're a runner-up, you're not get to nobody. I'm not saying you can't be a good player and be a runner-up, but at Rangers, you're only a good player if you're a winner. And I just had a feeling that his team was going a bit weak, a bit lightweight, But when I watched them against Marseille, I have to say I was impressed. I thought they looked solid. 4-4-2. Mullerman's still the talisman. I think Ryan Jack will do a good job. I know a lot of fans are liking him to me. I think Graham Dorrans has always been a player. Similarities. And Graham Dorrans has always been a player I've really, really liked. I do think that if the board, and it's no prompting them, but I do think if the board were willing to spend some money and give Pedro that last wee bit of push, I think if they brought in a striker, a top striker, a Jelavic, a striker that could make the difference, someone that's like tried and tested, an international striker that was going to cost a couple of quid, I genuinely think if they can keep his team that roughly started against Marseille fit, they'll have a really good season.
There is similarities. The fact that Pedro went for up the spine of the team, and so did Walter when he came in 2007. He brought in experience. Wearing Big Ekiog, who's no longer with us, very, very sad. But and yourself, and he's brought in Jack and Dorrans, and there's a lot of similarities.
Aye, I know he doesn't get monkeys what I say, but Tom asked me on Rangers TV what I thought the team needed. I just always put myself in a situation now I'm retired that one day I'd like to be a manager. One day I'd love to manage a club as great as Rangers. And you put yourself in a position as a young coach. What do you think you would sign for Rangers just now? You've shut your eyes and envisioned the type of team, the type of players that you would like, and that's what Walter done in my opinion. He inherited a squad that was a bit lightweight, a bit weak, and he quickly knew that he had a great goalkeeper in Alan McGregor. Stefan Kloss was there as well at the time, although Stefan wasn't playing as much and Alan was starting to get pushed. What a great mentor to have in Stefan Kloss for Alan. Grigri being one of the best goalies I've ever played with. Different class. Great shot stopper, mate. Great goalie, kicks it for miles, great lad. No matter what happened off the field, he was always focused, mentally tough. Never mattered how hard his life was, how many cars he got scratched, how much he was in the papers, being up to no good. Shy boy. Aye, and that's in my opinion, that's testament to him. Not what he got up to off the pitch, but what he produced the goods on the pitch, and he was different class. But like you say, Big Davey, Big Hugo, terrific man, man mountain of boy, and sad to see him obviously pass away. And Marcel, and you could say that Pedro, Big Alves, Ryan Jack, Graham Dorrans, Cardoso, in my opinion, looks like he could be anything. If he learns off the Alves, he could go on to become the next Carlos Cuellar, a Beguera, a player that Rangers fans adored. I think he's got the makeup to be a really good centre back. And then you've got some of the foreign lads that there's been reports that they can be as good as they want to be if they hit the ground running. Then you're relying on some of these players really, really becoming Rangers greats, really. Greats is probably too big a word, but a player that the fans really, really love and can take to. And the only way they love you at Rangers is if you're very, very good on the pitch.
How hard a cathedral is Ibrox to play in, mate?
It's tough. And I found it difficult the first 6 months, 12 months, however long it took me to settle in. I did think I settled in really quickly, but I settled in given sixes every week, and I thought that was good enough. I quickly learned that it wasn't good enough. And I'm glad I learnt. Walter gave me some harsh lessons early doors. He named his team on a board, Walter, at 1:15. He would the board would obviously be blank, and he would flick it up, and the boys that were playing would be in blue, and the boys that were on the bench would be in red. And we were at St Mirren one day, playing at the old stadium. I think it was live on the telly early kick-off, and he flicked the board over, I think in the hotel wherever we'd been, and we might actually be Ibrox before we then got on the bus to go to Paisley, and Thompson was in red, and I got that horrible sweaty feeling and kind of the watery eye feeling, as if like, oh, what have I done wrong? He never spoke to me, never said anything, just named his team and I wasn't playing. And I still remember speaking to Dad after the game. I think we won 1-0 or 2-0 that day, and I got on literally for 30 seconds at the end, a token gesture subs appearance. And I still remember my dad saying, the easiest appearance and win bonus you've ever had, son. I said, I'd rather not have it, Dad. I didn't want it. I wanted to play. And he said, I know. He says, what did he say to you? And I said, nothing. I said, what did I do? And he didn't know. And I did eventually go and see him. He told me to come and see him. And he said to me, why did you not chat my door on Monday morning when you didn't play? And I says, just for I didn't think I'd warranted doing it. He says, of course you weren't doing it. You weren't doing it all the time. He says, until you change your mentality and believe that you're the best player at this club, you're going to fail. And I says, how do you mean? I said, I think I'm doing all right. He says, all right, it's not good enough here.
Ooh.
He says the talent that you've got and the player that you can be, you have to be at it every week, and you have to believe in yourself. That see him through there, and I says, who? He says, Ferguson. He says, see if I left him out, he said, he'd fucking 2 foot my door on Monday morning and tell me why he's not playing because he's the best player at the club. He says, until you get that, he says, you're always going to be in his shadow. And I learnt a very, very quickly lesson that I had to believe in myself, and I changed my mentality to think no matter when I trained, whether I played against Messi, and I know that Kevin Thompson's not as good as Messi. I know that there's loads of players that were miles better than me, but one thing is, when you're on a pitch against them, you have to believe that you can compete with them. And I did. It didn't matter who come to Ibrox or wherever we went across the world, no matter how many great players I played against. I changed my mentality to think that no matter what pitch I was on, Ferguson, Davis, Mendes, all the great players that I played with, none of them were better than me. And then same again with the opposition that I played against, whether it was Scotty across the road or whether it was playing against the best players in the world in the Champions League. I believed that I deserved to be there, and I was inferior to none of them.
So the 2007 season started. Did you see it coming, mate? 2007, 2008. Did you see it coming? Did anybody think?
No. You didn't, do you? But I do believe, and I know it's easy to say, and people are like, how do you know, blah, 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 but I go back to thinking Red Star Belgrade, the wee man scoring late on at Ibrox, the roof coming, and then going over there, and probably one of the most hostile atmospheres I've ever played in. I still remember running off the pitch now with all their fans throwing lighters and all sorts at us when we went in there, because the tunnel was behind the goal, wasn't it? I don't know if you were there.
No, I wasn't there.
But the tunnel, if you look like through the dugouts to the left-hand goal, the tunnel was to the side of the goals, and you had to obviously go, and that's where all their mad supporters were when they used to take all their tops and that off, and they'd done that. I think they were maybe one of the first teams to do the, you know, how they do the huddle type thing when they turn round and do the bouncy type thing with the tops off. They were doing all that and obviously all the flames and lighters and all sorts were getting chucked at us. So we obviously run off, and then we got a police escort all the way back to our hotel, and there was police lined up all the way along the roads all the way back. And I don't know, there was just, when you sat after a European game, after getting into the Champions League, waiting on the draw, there was just, I don't know, there was just a camaraderie, there was a belief, the squad was growing, the personalities were growing, and when you looked around, sitting having your bowley pasta at 11 o'clock at night, and looking across at the table and seeing Walter and Durante and Coisty and Kenny McDowell and, you know, the Doc, all the staff, Davy Lavery, wee Jimmy, the good Rangers men that were by your side, that knew what it took to be successful at this club. You felt as though you were being part of something special, and I didn't say that lightly. I didn't say it just because we ended up getting there. I say it because I genuinely believe that the squad that Walter put together was only ever going to be a squad that was going to be successful, and to be part of that was just unbelievable. Then
we had the draw, mate. Stuttgart, Lyon, Barcelona. Quite an easy group, really, wasn't it?
I'm not going to lie. All the boys were thinking about how much money we could settle not to win a point.
But we started at Stuttgart. I was at that game, and Dasheville scored the penalty. Then Charlie Adams scored a magnificent goal.
Brilliant, look, it's to play the Champions League when you're a kid. When you think about it, I still get goosebumps now when I sit in the sofa and watch it, and the music comes on, and then the camera goes across all the players' faces, and I still remember my pals being there, because obviously that's the one game that they all want to come and watch. They want to come and watch the Champions League games, and to play on a European night. I actually went to a European night with friends, and Peebles, who was a big Rangers fan, took us one time. Me and my pal with his son and him. I cannot remember who they played. We sat behind the goals, and I just always remember being like, I don't know, 13, 14 or whatever, and thinking, this is unbelievable. But you never ever thought that one day that could be you on the pitch. And thankfully for me it was. And to play against the great players and test yourself against the best players in the world and get off to the start that we got off to, 7 points out of 9, including playing Barcelona, including going over to France and winning 3-0 in Lyon, was, you couldn't really make it up.
Sitting in the dressing room after that, I mean, they were one of the top teams in Europe at the time, Lyon, consistently semi-finalists. They'd won the French Championship a few times in a row.
That's what I'm saying. I think when people look back, and I know all you Bears and all the fans, that they didn't take it lightly what that team achieved, but I still remember sitting in because when we went over to France, it was it's funny. I never really bothered what I looked like when I was a player, but obviously when we went over to France, we were having Carlin on the on the strips. They had to be blacked out that night.
Right.
I just remember thinking the strips looked shite that night. I don't know why. It just looked crap, and I don't know why. I always like to feel good, look good, play good, and I just always remember thinking the strips are shite tonight. And then to produce what we produced, big jig to start with a rocket heater. And to be fair, I would say that probably Kuzan, although he was different class in the an Old Firm game, the 4-2 game that we trounced him over there. He was probably as good as he was, Daniel, and he had so much talent and he could be what he wanted to be, but he never had many outstanding games for Rangers. But that was one of them. He was a man mountain. He could do what he wanted, and Beasley as well, terrific that night.
Oh, what a goal!
Aye, what a goal! And it was just, I don't know, there was just a belief that even when we started the game, I still remember kick-off going and they kind of popped it around, and I think Juninho clipped one 50-60 yards over Sasha's head, and the winger can hold it, burst past him, and kind of flashed the ball across the box, and I hadn't even touched the ball, and I was breathing out my hole, and I was thinking, woof, this could be a long night. But to sit in the changing room, sweat peeing off you, to think that we had just won 3-0 in France, and the fans everywhere we went in Europe were unbelievable. That split second that you get after the game to clap them and kind of walk off the pitch as a winner is a feeling that you can never ever take for granted.
He got his back at Ibrox back. We'll move on. Obviously, you played against Barcelona, and nothing each draw. Messi and all that team, Iniesta, Xavi. So that was the only time you played against Barcelona in your career. Undefeated, mate. Undefeated.
Undefeated, aye. And I not so much wanting a pat in the back, but I do believe that Barcelona team, albeit the Barcelona team now is obviously unbelievable, but that was the time that Pep was just starting to make Barcelona into the superstar Barcelona that they become, as in like the style that they started to play, the whole philosophy of the club had changed. You only need to listen to Xavi's and Iniesta's talk about the transition period for when they went from youth team to getting into the first team and working under Pep, and how he changed his team and changed the kind of style of players that Barcelona were. I know they've always produced greats, but they were, I think that period when, bearing in mind Messi wasn't even a star enough to play for Barcelona, but Ronaldinho was the main show, Thierry Henry's, do you know what I mean? Like, even boys at the back, like Pujols, Lilian Thuram, like unbelievable players. And I think Messi was obviously the superstar to be, but he wasn't quite the superstar that he become. To think that we managed to draw 0-0 with him and had a couple of wee chances. I know Messi coming to slot.
The last minute, big Kuzan, wasn't it? Kuzan or Fergie?
Fergie had the one that flashed across the box, and he just stretched it. I don't know if that was in the first half or the second half, but we obviously had a couple of chances, and look, that's how we had to play against these great players. And I did it again tomorrow. How hard you had to work, talking about being in the trenches, and I still remember saying to Fergie with 10-15 minutes to go, and I was growling at him, saying, "Come on, Paz." He was knackered there. We'd all run ourselves into the ground, but I just had that wee bit extra, and I just kept on going and going and going. And Baz was starting to get tired, and he was such an important player for us that he was our leader. He was the one that you had to keep on egging on. But I think we had leaders all over the pitch that night, and every week basically, and that's what made us a really good team.
The disappointment when we lost at Lyon, first time we'd really seen Benzema, and he looked something special that night, if I remember right. And then we lost 3-0.
It was a bit, I don't know if anticlimax was the right word, because we knew that obviously getting beat that night, it was kind of, you were qualifying, and as long as Barcelona's form had held up and they beat Stuttgart, that we were going to obviously go into the Europa League, UEFA Cup, whatever it was called at the time. But they just turned up, didn't they? Zima on the show, and sadly we set up the same kind of game plan that we did every time we played in Europe, hard to beat and to hit on the counter and try and use our quality when we did win the ball back. And I think Benzema, look, he's world-class superstar, wasn't he? He turned up in the night and he was breathtaking at times. And sadly we fell short. But
if I remember right, Darshafel missed a sitter in the last couple of minutes, which would have put us through. Maybe just as well he missed it.
Aye, well, that's what I'm saying. It's every cloud, isn't it? And I know you can't have a crystal ball, but sometimes when I was there, a defeat in the league, I'd getting beat off a Ross County or a St Mirren or maybe a Hibs or whatever. If you maybe went 15-20 games on the bounce winning, and then all of a sudden you got a defeat, and it really, really hurt when you got a defeat at Rangers, because it felt as though like your world come crashing to a halt. But sometimes it gave you that kick up the backside to then kick on again. a complacent squad's never a successful squad, in my opinion, and that's one thing Walter would never let us be, complacent. So sometimes when you have a defeat like we had at Lyon, I can't remember off the top of my head where we were in the league and kind of the games that we had round about that, but it certainly then gave you the impetus and the push and the wee kick up the backside that you never wanted to feel that feeling of being kind of outplayed and a wee bit outclassed at Ibrox. Stadium starting to empty a wee bit near the end, and you never want to have the fans going home disappointed. So if you feel that disappointment, then you know that you never want to have it again.
So we moved on, and the league campaign was building momentum. The cup campaigns were building momentum. You were in and out the team for Christmas onwards. I don't know if that was due to injury.
I can't honestly. Maybe I think during one of the seasons I got my groins done.
Right.
I had a hernia.
But you still managed to play about 40 odd games that season, mate. 40 odd games.
I think I played 43 or 44 maybe that season. And I did. I think I missed 4 or 6 weeks to get my groins done. So it was, and even leading into the UEFA Cup final, I had bad feet at the time, just running on empty basically, and the kind of soft pitches changing to hard pitches. I actually had a thing called plantar fasciitis in my feet, which was like the sole of your feet. When you stick your thumb into like the bottom of your sole, you get like wee kind of almost lumps on your bit, and it can get really inflamed, and it almost feels like you're walking on needles. Obviously to the extent that it can be, you need to have flip-flops on every day basically because your feet are agony. And I had that leading into the UEFA Cup final. I come off the game that we naturally scored the 2 good goals against Dundee United, and I still remember sitting on ice packs because my feet were just agony. I was getting them strapped up every day to train, and Walter was giving me days off here and there just to make sure I was alright for games. And it was you're genuinely were running on empty, but I'd run on empty every day of my life if I got to experience that season again.
And then you come back, obviously, we'll maybe talk about it after we've finished the season, but you scored the winner against Celtic, mate. You'll always be remembered for that.
And I know it sounds selfish, but and I'm not the type of selfish person, but to score a winner in an Old Firm and the game actually finished 1-0. And look, I thought I bossed that game that day, even if I scored or I never scored.
You also get man of the match, mate. You also get man of the match.
That's what I'm saying. It's to look back, and I still remember getting a text off the chairman, and the chairman obviously never texts often. He used to phone all the time right enough when he was trying to sign us, but he texted me saying, well done, part of the history now, David. So just these things that tell you how special it is to score an Old Firm winners. And like I say, look back and I can tell my kids that we won 1-0 that day and Dad scored. And to be honest, when I watched the goal back, it was a terrific goal as well. Not just because it was mine, it was
great move.
At the day, and it was somebody else, but bad, great pass, nice and crisp. Never expected anything different off a Baz. You know what I mean? Somebody lesser ability would have gave you that ball a bit bobblier. It might have come a bit high or a bit overweight, but inch perfect. And then when you pass to the Bull, when he's got his back to goal, and Jean-Claude Dasheville, you know that if you make a wee run 9 times out of 10, he either uses the decoy and he scores himself, or he gets it back to you. And thankfully he got it back to me, and I just shut my eyes and hoped for the best when it was on the right foot, and thankfully it went under big Boruc's legs. And
how good were they two players? How good were they two players you mentioned, Ferguson and Dasheville?
Brilliant. Fergie's the one that obviously all your pals, your dads, everybody that ask you when you first move, what's the players like? Are they good? What's Barry like? And he's different class. He's just a great football player. Just all round footy player, clever in possession. You know what I mean? The wee games. He could keep the ball in a phone booth. He was his pass appreciation, his game awareness, just everything that you would expect in a top player. And I think people take it not so much granted, because I know the Bears love him and he's a legend, and they think really highly. I'm probably one of the best Rangers players in the last 20-30 years, or for as long as I've kind of knew football. But to go down the road as well and play for Birmingham and Blackburn, I know he hurt his knee, but he was flying at Blackburn at the time. But when he went down to Birmingham as well, when Birmingham had that season, they played in the Premier League, he was Player of the Year, and his stats were unbelievable. It's just when stats were just coming in, and I always think that when our players go down the road, albeit I never done particularly well myself due to injury, but I do think people kind of underappreciate our Scottish players, and Barry, in my opinion, could have held his own with many of the great English midfielders.
Aye. Dasheville only played one full 90 minutes for us, and that was in the UEFA Cup final.
UEFA Cup final. He was funny, Dash. He was a great guy, great teammate. big character, bully a boy, unplayable at times in training, and this game, he was so strong. Although I used to like fighting with him, to be honest, but yeah, he was an animal, and I used to enjoy trying to get my bum into him and try and block his shots and try and wrestle with him. And the first pre-season, sorry, the first pre-season that we had, he turned up and a spin bike got taken out of training, and obviously we've got our heart rate monitors on, and you know that pre-season's obviously going to be tough. It was really tough at Rangers. That's one thing we were always fit and strong, and that was testament to kind of the sports science, the physios, and getting all the boys in shape. But Adam used to blow his whistle and tell us what the run was, and you used to get your watch to tell you your zone that you had to be in, and obviously the whistle goes, and I'm start bombing around Murray Park and trying to get my zone in the right zone, so I could score high as such. And I'm running round, and all of a sudden I see this guy on the bike pedalling away, and obviously Dash, I'm looking thinking, what's he doing? So the players, obviously, the first 4 minutes, you can start to talk a wee bit, and you're like, oh, what's he doing? Shouting at different players when they're running. They're like, don't know, that's a joke. And he's sitting on the spin bike, so he done his 4 minutes on the bike while we were having to run around Murray Park. And to be honest, I think it was just Dash at the stage of his career that he was. I think he was 32, 33 when he signed, so he was certainly no spring chicken. And I think at that age, he knew the tricks of the trade. He knew how to avoid some of the hard miles and the hard work. I didn't think it helped him. Albeit he was the fastest at the club. He scored the highest on the sprint test. I think maybe him and Wee Nacho were up there with the highest. But Dash was so powerful over like 10 yards, which I don't know if fans would think that or no, because obviously 10 yards on a football pitch isn't that far. Being a striker, you know what I mean? He probably would have to run 20, 30 yards if he was maybe getting in behind or coming short and then spinning or whatever. So you probably never looked at him and thought he was that fast, but he was, and that's what I say. Like in the wee games and that 5-a-side, 6-a-side or whatever in training, he could be deadly. He was a great finisher as well. He had great quality.
We played 14 games in about 50 odd days, up to the run to Manchester, yeah. And then obviously we went to Florence, mate, and that night, and ultimately with 10 men got to penalty kicks, and that was heart and mouth. Everybody watching it behind the sofa, and then the penalty kicks came. How nervous were you?
Oh, well, I was more nervous because I was due to take one, and I think
you next?
Rangers fans ken. I think if the Rangers fans ken that, they would have been even more nervous. Look, I think, I know I mentioned it before, trenches, digging deep, knowing what that burn in your belly feels like when you've got no more to give. Florence was one of the nights. I still remember saying to the gaffer that I think it was half time, extra time, saying, that fucking, what's he doing? He's like, what? I said, I'm fucking playing left back, because Big Sasha had gone. He says, just you keep on doing what you're doing, son. And then obviously we were kind of back to the wall a wee bit and trying to defend for our lives, albeit I thought we were absolutely terrific on the night. Within the game, we played really well in the first half and then soaked it up a wee bit in the second half, and it was kind of nip and tuck in extra time. But we were running out of steam a wee bit, and like any home team, normally you know that when you're away from home, you're going to have to soak up a wee bit of pressure at times, because their fans, it can be just a wee silly thing, do you know what I mean? It can be a corner kick or a good tackle, or kind of somebody skips by somebody and puts a ball in the box and it gets their fans up, and before you know it, you have to try and soak it up. But good teams can soak it up, and that's what we've done. And I still remember the wee man stepping up, and after Baz missed the first one, you kind of thought, if Baz doesn't score, and he hit his penalty well as well. You know what I mean? I know any
good
penalty
save.
that gets saved or misses, good save. Can he hit it well enough? And to be honest, the penalty takers that followed Baz, Sasha's, Brahim's, Whitty's, when Baz missed, you kind of thought that was us, because Baz probably had as much quality as anyone, so you'd expect him to obviously stick it in the net. But he kind of thought, that's the dream kind of crashed. But when the wee man stepped up, I probably the same as every other bear. I never had any doubt that the wee man was going to score.
I couldn't watch, mate. I couldn't watch, I'll be honest with you.
to run to the halfway line to that far corner, and obviously I still remember the cage and the fans kind of obviously being behind the fence, and us running to the corner and the wee man sliding obviously on his knees, and I cannot tell, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. How amazing it was to then sit in the changing room sipping on your Powerade and having a drink of water, trying to then prepare for the next game. You couldn't even remember who you were playing. It was just all
away to Hibs, mate.
Is that what it was? Was it?
Away to Hibs. No, you're doing nothing each, mate. And surprise, you get booked.
That's no surprise, eh?
You get booked against more against Hibs than any other team in your Rangers career. Aye.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. There was always a bit needle because obviously, especially the first time I went back when the whole stadium sung Kevin Thompson was gay. So, look, you want to win, don't you? You want to prove a point. That's just the way it is. But look, going back to the UEFA Cup final, semi-final. Sorry, I cannot believe we got there. To be honest, and I did say when I done the podcast for the boys just last week that you feel like you do let everybody down. The kind of anti-climax of getting to Manchester.
You never let us down, mate. You never let us down.
I know, and it's amazing when the fans say that because I hope the club do so. I know we were runners-up. Look, we weren't the winners. That's just the way it was. That's what panned out. But obviously next year it'll be 10 years since we got there. I hope the club do something for the players. It would be nice to get quite a lot of that team is retired. They're not playing anymore, and I know there's still a few that are still playing, Whitties, etc., and Big Cut Broadfoot. There's still obviously a few still playing, but I'd like to see the club do something for the players, and I'm pretty sure the fans would lap it up because
the whole squad, mate, the whole squad that season, mate.
Aye, it'd be great. And
are you bitter as players that you've never got the support for the Scottish Football Association that other teams would have got?
I probably wasn't at the time because you just kind of get on with your job. You didn't really have an opinion about it. The game's done. You prepare for them. You want to win them, and I always as a player, I never look for excuses ever. Injuries, no feeling well, waking up in the morning being tired, not having a good sleep, and then having to eat chicken and pasta at 9:30 in the morning. Having that kind of sore belly where you feel like you need a shite all the time, and then having to go to Tynecastle and produce the goods, knowing that you have to win. I never looked for any excuses, but I've had all the feelings. I just used them as a motivation. I just gritted my teeth and got on with it. When I look back now as a retired player, you have a slightly different view and you have a different recollection of what actually happened. And for us not to get the help that we should have got, regardless of Rangers, Celtic, Hibs, Hearts, we're in Europe, we're in a competition that didn't affect any other team in Scotland, and I know that different countries cancel games for other teams, whether it's Barcelona, whether it's a French team, German team. Their football associations would structure to give their team the best opportunity to be successful in that competition, and I think we never got that at all. And to play, I think four games in 8 days was ridiculous.
Right, we played Dundee United on the Saturday lunchtime before we travelled to Manchester. The famous Craig O'Brien lost it when he was Dundee United manager. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but that's another tale. See, when you were in Manchester, mate, did you know what you had done? Were you aware of the people that were there? It was my greatest day ever as a Buenos.
Well, and it's amazing that because like a lot of Rangers fans and even like the social media that I've had, and I've obviously only done social media for a wee time, and the amount that say that to get to a UEFA Cup final, a European Cup final, and go there with my dad, and I've watched Rangers everywhere in the country and never been a game. Never missed a game, and then to get to Manchester and stand shoulder to shoulder with my dad is the proudest day of my life. I think that's unbelievable. And to be part of that, to be a player at that time is just great. To say that I never really felt how big it was just due to the fact that Walter took us to a fancy hotel. So Alex was a golf member of the bit. I cannot mind what it was called on the Monday, and we had a day off on Monday. We went for an Italian to say this wee Italian. We had to get on a bus to go to it, and like in a wee kind of posh town. I just remember like big houses and nice wee Italian upstairs. We all got food obviously ahead of the team, and then on the Tuesday night we obviously went into the stadium and trained. Just a really light session. I was nursing my feet. My feet were obviously agony, so I was getting intensive treatment. Walking about with my flip flops on, bare feet basically all the time. And the game itself, you miss the kind of streets and the what's kind of going on with the fans and actually how many are there. Obviously your phone never stops. Your mates are texting you saying this is unbelievable. The motorways are just awash with blue, and you know how big it actually was. But even the stadium that night, if I could have a picture in my mind that I would love to remember, would be walking out when we first walked out and seeing the stadium awash with blue, and even their fans, there were different class atmosphere within the stadium. For any Rangers fan that did get a ticket and was in that stadium,
it was amazing.
Was just unbelievable. Even just the way the stadium is, the shape of the stadium, the pitch was a carpet. It was unbelievable. Just to kind of walk out there, it makes me feel special that I've been part of it.
How did you know clatter a shaver in the first 5 minutes, mate?
I actually did clatter a few people in that game. Even 45 minutes, I've soaked it in at half time. You're running on empty. I couldn't even breathe through the game, to be honest. They had like the smoke things and that as well, and obviously get the smoke off the flamey type things to start with, don't you? And there was kind of like a funny smell within the stadium, no, like a nice fresh air smell, if you know what I mean. And I was basically running on empty. But I still remember clattering somebody the far side in front of their supporters. He got passed inside and he turned into me. Not quite dissimilar to the Robbie Keane tackle where he kind of turns inside to me, and I knew he was going to go that way, and I kind of clattered him. I cannot mind who it was. And then same again, one of the boys played a quick 1-2 on me, and I never really tracked the runner. I had to go bombing down the touchline, and I clattered him on the touchline as well. I just remember how the pitch being really, really hard, so my knees were covered in blood. Kind of like just for the side tackle, like the sand in the grass. Mm-hmm. And at half time, I'm walking off thinking, we're right in this. Like, you know what I mean? They're a good team, really good team. Bear in mind they beat Bayern Munich, didn't they, in the semi-final?
Aye, they hammered them.
Aye. Can you know, just talking about Zenit St. Petersburg to the footy, non-intelligent guy would be thinking, who's these? Do you know what I mean? It's like Russian team, like, you know what I mean? People are like, where are these from? Sweden or what? You know what I mean? That's the kind of disrespectful people that you get when you all of a sudden a Zenit St. Petersburg pops up. Do you know what I mean? But what a team they had. Some talented players, fully internationals, fully top internationals. Some players that are stars in their countries, that are huge countries as well. Not just, you're not talking about like small countries. And at half time, I genuinely sat in the changing room. Everything was going according to plan, and I thought we were going to win. I believed that we were going to win. To no win, and for them to run away with it in the way they did in the second half was. I shed a tear, and many a tear, to be honest, and it was when I looked at my mum and dad in the stand, I managed to find them, and I was just gutted. It was.
You weren't alone, mate.
I know. It just felt like so much hard work, so much passion, so much desire, so much everything you would want in a team that we had to be proud of. We had it in abundance, and it just falls short in that final hurdle. And I look back to at one stage going for the quadruple, could have been one of the greatest Rangers teams in history. And I know that there's far more talented players that have played for the club than me, but what we could have achieved in 08 to have potentially won the domestic treble, which I think we would have if we never got to the UEFA Cup final. Would I change winning the treble to get to the UEFA Cup final? Probably. I still look fondly at my medal, and I'm really proud that I've got one. But to think that a wee bit help and a wee bit more luck, we could have won the lot. And if we'd won the lot, I'd probably be cherished like a king for the rest of my life.
That team, mate, you ultimately don't feel any. Well, we know we were all disappointed, and we know the circumstances behind it, and the fans are maybe still so bitter for the treatment with the SFA. But take it from me, along with the hundreds of thousands that were in Manchester, he's never let us down, mate. Never let us down.
I know. I didn't feel that. I just always I wanted to win, and even when we got to the end of the season and we'd only won the double, and you have the feeling that we had at Easter Road when we won the league and we still had 5 games to spare, and you the bouncy, and you know what I mean, you're on the bus singing the songs, and you have a night out in Glasgow and all the Bears are happy, and then you have your title party at Ibrox, and it's the greatest feeling ever. That's why you become a footy player, to become a winner. You know what I mean? I don't even let my kids beat me in the back garden. It's just the way I am.
Quite right, mate. Quite right.
I just love winning, no matter what I do, whether it's temping bowling or whether it's cycling. I just want to win. And to no win that night, I just think I'd got a drugs test straight afterwards as well. The whole night felt like an anticlimax. But I'll tell you a wee story when I don't know if I'm wasting your time here, but
no, you carry on.
It's funny when I done a drugs test straight after the game, which would have obviously been a bit of a sinner for me if we had won, because I wouldn't have got to celebrate with the boys, but I would have done 10 drugs tests if it meant we got to win. But I was in with Tumashuk, the captain, and I swapped his strip, and I remember being a wee bit gutted because obviously it took me ages to pee because you put so much effort into the... Dehydrated, I put so much effort into the game, and I cried, and it's the worst thing you can do if you try and squeeze one out and you get a wee dribble and it takes you an hour to do one. So I was a couple of hours there. I got back in the changing room and I gave Tumashook my shirt because he asked me if I would swap. So I took mine off and he obviously gave mine, and the doc went and got me a t-shirt and setting me obviously the training t-shirt on and Tumashook's jersey, and thinking I couldn't get out of my head that I was going to be gutted that if my strip wasn't there when I got back. And I got back into the changing room absolutely delighted. Baby Jimmy was still there, cleaning up the changing room as he always done, and the bus had left to go back to the hotel, so they'd got me a car, so I was obviously going back in a private car with a doc, and the only thing that was left in the changing room was Jimmy Bell, my strip, my boots, my flip-flops, all my gear at my part of the changing room, and we had jelly babies, big jelly babies, and you get red ones, purple ones, yellow ones, white ones, and you get green ones. And what colour was left on the bed? The only colour that the lads...
Let me guess.
So I was hungry, so I started eating them. There were green jelly babies and Kevin Thompson strip left in the changing room, and I'm talking there must have been the big massive bags of jelly babies, and the lads wouldn't eat green jelly babies.
It's the upbringing, mate. It's the upbringing. But ultimately, that season, mate, you won the Scottish Cup final, the last game of that season, which was, you were running on empty, and we really struggled. We beat Queen of the South, Big Boy, they got a double. But so you got a Scottish Cup medal, so disappointment, mixed emotions.
Anticlimax, I think, is probably the right, and I was proud as punch because it was the first time I'd won it, and it was a cup that I really wanted to win. I wanted to get my hands on a winners medal, a cup final that I'd obviously disappointment. Being a Hibs player, obviously getting beaten cup final, so I was desperate to play in a cup final, to do well and feel that feeling of walking around the pitch afterwards. But it's just typical my luck and typical kind of what I went through in my career, the roller coaster of emotions. It did feel beautiful summer's day, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. And walking around the pitch, we wore white that day, didn't we?
That's right.
And it was that kind of the one with the kind of purpley burgundy type of kind of colour in it, wasn't it? I've still actually got my strip in my game room, so, and I've still got a few pictures of it as well, like lifting the Scottish Cup up, which was nice. But like you say, anticlimax, kind of not a disappointment. How can you ever be disappointed to win a cup? But just disappointed that you were finishing the season not as successful as you wanted to be, and not as successful as you felt as though the hard work that you had put in deserved. But to win the Scottish Cup and to have a song and dance and the feeling of being a winner, walking around Hampden in front of the Rangers fans is, it's second to none.
So you ended up, that meant you all three medals. You ended up ultimately, you got a League Cup winners medal sent off. Rangers won the game with 9 men. You won the Scottish Cup in 2008 season and then you won the league in 2009 and 2010. So you've got the three medals.
Aye, and it's I've got 9 all in.
Right.
I wish I'd got 10. I don't know why. I just like 10 rather than 9. It's just being greedy. It's the way I am. But look at it. I'd like to think if I never moved to Middlesbrough and Rangers were unfortunately in the situation that they were in financially, then I potentially would have won many more. Because there was probably no way at 25, 26 that if Rangers weren't in the financial difficulty that they were in, I would probably never have left. I'd like to think I'd built up a huge reputation. I thought I was the heir to Fergie's throne, albeit Davy was the captain at the time because Baz had moved on. But Bob had told me that I was going to be the next captain. I was going to be the one that took over Barry's throne when he moved on. He was never ever going to no-make Davy it because Davy was a wonderful player and a wonderful man within the changing room, a proper leader. And I learnt a lot of stuff off Barry and Davy. I was a spongy information, me as a player. I like to ask older players' opinions on things. I like to speak footy. I like to get a wee bit of knowledge off every person and build up my own wee bank of knowledge. And being a young captain at Hibs, I was one of the youngest captains in the club's history when Tony made me captain when I was 21. So I felt I was a natural leader on the pitch and in the changing room. And if I could have become that one day, then it would have been amazing. But you cannot be too greedy. You just have to appreciate what you got. And win the medals that I did win, to play in the games that I played in. But I think I played in 7 or 8 Old Firms and I only lost one. Although it was kicking the teeth to lose it, we'd already won the league. I think it's one that Rangers fans would probably let us off with losing, but it still felt like a major defeat.
I can't remember that one.
I think the fans will remember it like it was yesterday, with the fact that I think there was 5 or 6 students that went cheered every time they touched the ball. I've never seen an atmosphere like it, because we'd obviously already won the league. But we should have won that night, and I think even Celtic fans would say that. The chances that we had was unbelievable in an Old Firm. I think Kenny missed 2 or 3 good chances. We had them flashed across the box. We beat 2-1, but we genuinely could have scored 5 or 6 goals that night. But we won the league, and we got to celebrate it at Motherwell last game of the season, and lifting that title at Ibrox in front of 50,000 fans and walking around the pitches. You know, it's I don't know how to describe it as a player. It's any player that's ever won a trophy and ever won a medal, to do it in front of your home fans on your own pitches is unbelievable.
You lived the dream, Kevin, that hundreds of thousands of Bears would have liked to have done, mate. Can I thank you for your efforts? And I just want to ask you, the game tomorrow, it will be a good game. Rangers and Hibs, Easter Road. Will you be there?
I'm not going, no. And I think unless I was working, I think it's. And look, I don't think anyone would bother, but I think if I went in the Hibs end, and I'm not a people pleaser, I'm respectful. I couldn't give a monkey's what people think about me. That's the way I am. But I like to be respectful to everybody, and I think it would be wrong to go and support one team and not the other. I said to you off air that if Rangers win the league and the High Bees finish second, then I'll be a happy boy.
And that will do for us, mate. That will do for us. Kevin, can I thank you for coming on our small show? I hope tens of thousands of people listening to this. It's been an absolute pleasure. But we've got one thing to ask you before you leave. See, now that you're no longer training, when you have a rolling sausage, do you have brown or red sauce on it?
Well, rolling sausage, I would be red.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much, mate. That will do for me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And if any time you want to come on and push your academy and let us know an update of how it's gone, it'd be a dream to have you back on the show, mate. And football is, don't hesitate to get in touch with us, and it'll be a pleasure to push your academy, mate.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
Cheers, Kevin. Thanks very much.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Speak to you soon. Cheers.
The statement I do make, and it is no mistake, about a football team that plays down Parkhead Way. They're a shower of diving shites, and you know that I am right, for that's the way the Glasgow Celtic play. They were playing against the Hearts when the ball went into the box. Chris Sutton, he dived down onto the grass. The ref just turned away and carried on with play. The fans then shouted, Sutton, get off your arse. Get off your arse. Get off your arse. You diving, cheating shite, get off your arse. Yes, are always a bloody same. When you play this football game, you're always diving down onto the grass. Sutton's not the only one when you play against the scum. Pedro, Thompson and Hudson do the same, trying to con the referee to get a penalty, for the Celts will cheat so they can win the game. A match against Dundee, it was very plain to see when a ball came into the box to Didier Agat. Agatti turned around, then dived them to the ground. The ref just said, Agat, get off your arse. Get off your arse. Get off your arse. You diving, cheating shite, get off your arse. Yes, are always a bloody same. When you play this football game, you're always diving down onto the grass. There's a rumour going round up at the Parkhead ground. When you hear what it is, I'm sure you'll think it's true. The Tick have signed a guy to help them when they dive. It's none other than Mr. Duncan Goodhue. This rumour could be right. The other day I watched the shite. They were playing against a team nicknamed the Pars. Still Ian Petrov got the ball and done a terrific somersault, but he was told, hey, you get off your ass. Get off your ass, get off your ass. You diving, cheating, shite, get off your ass. These are always a bloody same. When you play this football game, you're always diving down onto the grass. Celtic played the Dons. Sutton was on the ball when he got the call. The captain of Aberdeen thought he was on a submarine when he heard dive, dive, dive over the ball. The Rangers game was next and they were still up to their tricks. The Gers fans at the time were singing the sash. When Thompson hit the floor, there was one almighty roar. Thompson, you cheating shit, get off your ass. Get off your ass, get off your ass. You diving, cheating shit, get off your ass. These are always a bloody same. When you play this football game, you're always diving down onto the grass. Get off your ass. Cheating shite, get off your arse. These are always a bloody same. When you play this football game, you're always diving down onto the grass. Yeah, she's are always diving down onto the grass.